AEW All In and WWE Evolution are officially in the rearview mirror, and I'm here to break down everything that happened over the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 11 of Break It Down. My name is Dante Toro, wearing my brand new Hangman Adam Page t-shirt that I got at All In Texas. I was able to watch, be there live. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I went to Texas for All In with my family that lives down there. They live in Houston, and we decided to make a trip to Dallas to go to All In. And my cousin, who is Kyle, I apologize, he's either 33 or 34 years old. I forget which one it is, but he's in his 30s, always been a WWE guy. Never watched a lick of AEW. Never seen a single episode, match. He knows a few people by name, but never watched the product. Being able to experience that with him and seeing his reaction to everything was priceless. That is something I would never trade for the world, and I am going to put out a vlog of All In, so be on the lookout for that. That will be coming out within the next week. I'm hoping it's going to be early next week. I have a lot of footage and stuff to go through, so going to work on that this weekend. You guys will be getting that next week, but I'm going to talk about All In. I'm going to talk about WWE Evolution. I'm also going to talk about Saturday Night Main Event and some other things that go along with it. But before I jump into everything, I want to thank everyone that approached me, came up to me, introduced themselves. I met some amazing people in Texas on this past weekend. And that, to me, meeting you guys, being able to get to know you, have a conversation with you about whether it's life or just, what we love the most, and that's wrestling. That's something that I will never, ever take for granted, being able to talk to the people that support me and got me to where I am today. So if you came up to me, you approached me, you said a nice word, you took a picture, whatever you did, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, it was a pleasure meeting all of you, and I can't wait to do it again one day soon. And I say, let's just jump into All In. We're already on the topic of it, so we'll just stay with All In. We'll start with the pre-show matches. We'll talk about every match they had, because there were 11 in total, I believe, 12 in total, excuse me. Longest pay-per-view in wrestling history. And let me tell you something. It was a long pay-per-view, but that crowd was electric the whole time. Although it did, I looked at my phone, I was like, oh my God, it's 6 o'clock and we still have 3 more matches. I was like, wow, but the next 3 matches are the biggest matches of the card. It was a long show, but AEW, they do a fantastic job at filling out the time and making it entertaining and not boring. You know what I mean? So not every match was incredible, the best, but let's jump into the first pre-show match. Sons of Texas, which is Dustin Rhodes, Marshall Von Erich, Ross Von Erich, and Sammy Guevara. They defeated Shane Taylor Promotions, which is Shane Taylor, Lee Morty, Carly Bravo, and Captain Sean Dean. Just an 8-man tag team match. Dustin, Sammy, the first match of the night was a win. The next pre-show match we have is Big Boom AJ, Kyle O'Reilly, Hologram, and Ishii taking on the Don Callis family. Big Boom AJ and the Conglomeration get the win. His son, Big Justice, speared Trent Beretta, lead to a Big Boom power bomb, whatever you want to call it. They get the win. Now, I want to talk about this match and also just the topic of celebrities in wrestling, because in AEW, we got Big Boom AJ, and in WWE, we have Jelly Roll. And I've voiced my opinion on Jelly Roll in WWE. Just as I have voiced my opinion on Big Boom AJ in WWE. Now, AEW, excuse me. Now, my thing isn't against Jelly Roll. There actually was a report, not even a report. He was on Pat McAfee's show, wherever he was, talking about how much he's been training. He's been sending videos to Undertaker, Michelle McCool, 3-hour training videos, and they're giving him tips. He's been working with Jacob Fatu. He's been working with top guys leading up to this match. Apparently, he moved closer to the Performance Center. He's been at the Performance Center each and every day training, getting ready. I respect that, and I appreciate that, because if you are an outside celebrity stepping in, especially for a match that involves Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, the fact that he's putting in that much work to make it as good as it possibly could be, I respect that. My issue with Jelly Roll, or that entire situation, I shouldn't even say Jelly Roll. My issue is with the situation that it is. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre are too good. They're too big of names to be in this match. If you wanted to do Logan Paul versus Jelly Roll, absolutely. I see why they're not, because they want to add Randy and McIntyre to make it a good match, actual professionals. But just Randy Orton being involved in the WWE Championship picture, Drew McIntyre just coming back, talking about, he should be in the WWE Championship picture, and now he's teaming with Jelly Roll. Like that, I just don't like the pairing. I don't like the people involved in the match. If this was two lesser named guys, I don't know anyone at the top of my head, but if this was like two guys that, are bottom of the card, probably wouldn't have made it on the SummerSlam card anyways, but like this match allows them to, sure, whatever. But Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, they could be facing each other for God's sakes. That's my issue. And I want to clear that up because a lot of people have been harassing me online about me comparing Big Boom AJ, who is on the pre-show and promotes the show better than anyone else in the fucking company. Big Boom AJ is a literal promoter. He also is a former wrestler. He used to wrestle professionally. He respects the business. He goes, does all these interviews, these shows, promoting AEW like he's fucking Tony Khan. Also, the Rizzler got a top 5 pop in the night. And if you are saying like, oh, that's not true, I was there. I heard it. People love the Rizzler. People love him. Big Justice. When he speared Trent Beretta, I fucking screamed. It was so funny. And when he got pushed over, listen, it's all in good fun. It's harmless. This is pre-show stuff, right, in AEW. So I just comparatively, I don't like the situation that Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre got put in on the main card when they could be doing something better. That doesn't compare to Big Boom AJ pinning Trent Beretta on the second pre-show match of All In. It just they're not. You can't compare the two. They're celebrities, but two very different situations. So I just wanted to clear that up really quick because I feel like some people have been confused or twisting my words and everything. So I have no issue with Jelly Roll, okay? I don't. It's just the situation of the match and everything. Third and final pre-show match at All In, FTR defeats the Outrunners, who dressed up as like Marlboro cigarettes, their gear was, or whatever the fuck it was. It was really fucking funny. Love the Outrunners. I love their bit, love their character. FTR, one of the best tag teams in the world. So great last pre-show match. Great pre-show matches in general. The 3 pre-show matches were pretty solid. But the first match of the night, we had the Ops, Shibata, Hobbs, and Samoa Joe defeating the Death Riders of Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, and Gabe Kidd, retaining the Trios Championship. After the match, the Death Riders took out Samoa Joe. They put a chair around his neck, stomped on it. Apparently, he's going to be gone promoting a movie or a game. He's out doing something right now. So they wrote him off TV for a little bit, and that's how we got the night started. The Death Riders lost, but they broke Samoa Joe's neck, and we're like, all right, well, the Death Riders are already getting started. We still have like 6 hours before the main event. So next match, we had the Men's Casino Gauntlet that saw MJF winning by pinning Roderick Strong. It was a fun match. The Casino Gauntlet it's an interesting concept, with the whole people coming in every few minutes. You can get the pin, submission whenever you want. And it's also nice, like you had a bunch of superstars announced, but you had a lot of surprises too, or a good amount of surprises. Ibushi, I think, was the last person that came out. So that was cool seeing him wrestle in person. I've seen him. He had Blood and Guts in Boston years ago, and he made his AEW debut then. But cool seeing him again. MJF won. That's who I would have predicted to win. I feel like he was the odds-on favorite. Makes sense. He was the biggest name in the match. He's with the Hurt Syndicate. They have the tag team championships. He's got the contract now. And we'll get to, what happens later on in the night. But MJF with that contract, that could be some scary business. That could be some scary business for the AEW champion. Now, the next match we had was the AEW TNT Championship. Fatal 4-way match. Dustin Rhodes, Daniel Garcia, Kyle Fletcher, and Sammy Guevara. Adam Cole, before the event, he suffered a concussion. This is what came out afterwards. He suffered a concussion, woke up Saturday morning, or couldn't sleep the night before, wasn't feeling like himself, and brought it up to the doctors, Tony Khan, and they decided that it wasn't best for him to compete. Now, when they announced everything, they put out the new graphic. They said Adam Cole's relinquishing the belt, can't defend it. We're just like, injury, like what? When did he get injured? What happened? He comes out before the match, already just like emotional. And as soon as he stepped in the ring and started talking, I was like, oh, this isn't good. Like, he didn't have a neck brace on. He didn't have an arm. Like, it didn't have like any like you couldn't see any like a sign of an injury. You know what I mean? He was talking about retirement, and apparently he wanted to go out. He planned on going out to announce his retirement, but people, told him, don't do that. Let's take your time, whatever. Came out, talked about how grateful he was for the fans and his career and how much, we've been following him and supporting him in the ups and downs. And man, It got like I'm like it's sad, bro. Like hearing that, like getting choked up about something like that because someone like Adam Cole, bro, like I've been watching him for so many years, and he's someone that has been wrestling for most of his life, and like for that to be potentially taken away from you because of something that's out of your control, like an injury, like a concussion, that's really tough. That's really sad. And knowing the history of concussions that he's had in the past, and we know how serious they were with him, and he almost didn't come back from his last one. What I hope for is Adam Cole to get healthy. That's what I think everyone should, care the most about is his health, because something like a concussion, a head injury like that, you don't fuck with that. You never fuck with that stuff. I applaud Adam Cole for saying what he did, doing what he did, and not putting himself in danger, because God knows what would have happened if he did wrestle that night feeling the way that he did. So, speedy recovery to Adam Cole. I selfishly hope we see him back in the wrestling ring one day, but if we don't, it's for good reason. He's putting his health first. And if it was the last time we saw Adam Cole, he ain't listening to this podcast. He's not watching. But thank you, Adam Cole. In every company you've been in, you have been a star. You have won world championship after world championship, tag team championship, mid-card championship. You are the man. Adam Cole, baby. Speedy recovery in just your personal health, whether it's a speedy recovery back to the ring or just getting to who you are and remaining outside the ring. The fans will support you in whatever you decide to do. So, speedy recovery to Adam Cole. But TNT Championship match, in my opinion, I thought Kyle Fletcher, I thought he was going to win in general, beating Adam Cole. And I figured this was, okay, he's definitely going to win this now. They added in 3 new superstars that weren't supposed to be in here, so he'll probably win. Dustin Rhodes with one of the most shocking wins in AEW history, I would say. He's from Dallas, Texas. Hometown boy, never won a singles championship in AEW, I believe. And he wins the TNT championship at 56 years old. I mean, such a cool story. Dustin Rhodes, I mean, we know his history with WWE, Goldust, and how, Goldust is an iconic character, but I don't think Dustin Rhodes was ever allowed to be himself the way he is in AEW. And I think we're seeing the best version of Dustin Rhodes in AEW. And you know what? Me and my cousin were talking about this after the match, where I was like, maybe that's a situation where they give him the big win. He holds on to the belt for a week or something. Maybe he defends it on Dynamite and then loses. But now that I think about it more, I really hope he has a decent title reign. I hope he holds on to it for a few months, because he deserves it. He deserves it. When was the last time he held a singles championship? I don't know. I can't answer that question. So for him to win this at 56 years old in his hometown, I saw his tweet about his dad, Dusty. Very heartfelt, very happy for Dustin. I hope he has a good reign with the belt. I think him and Sammy, there was a little, Sammy was kind of looking at him a little weird, like, oh, you wanted to win that belt? I wanted that one. Because I think he would have became a 4-time TNT champion or something. But maybe something will go on there. Shout out to Dustin Rhodes. Congratulations to you, brother. Next match up. We have the tag team of Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay taking on the Young Bucks. And if the Young Bucks lose, they're stripped of the executive vice president titles. If Ospreay and Strickland lose, they were not able to challenge for the AEW championship for 1 full year. This, ladies and gentlemen, I think was definitely, without a doubt, top 3 match of the night. I think it was right behind the main event. This match was fucking awesome. The Young Bucks, let's give the Young Bucks their flowers right now while we can. They have been involved in some of the greatest tag team matches in AEW history, and some of the greatest tag team matches in wrestling history, period. They've had matches against Swerve and Ospreay, the Lucha Brothers, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page. I know I'm missing one big tag team match that they were in, but 3 of the best tag team matches you will ever watch with your own fucking 2 eyes in AEW or just in any wrestling promotion, and they lost all 3 of them. The Young Bucks consistently give us a match that could go down as one of the best tag team matches we've ever seen. Almost be guaranteed that every time they step into a ring for a big match like this is unbelievable. They deserve every flower in the world for not only putting on those matches, but putting over the talent in each and every one of them. They're the EVP. Well, they were the EVPs. They are arguably the best tag team of all time. I think they should be in that conversation when it's all said and done. They have every right to go over. They have every right to hold on to the tag team championships and, be the biggest tag team and, controlling the tag team division. Because they can. They're that good. But they don't. Yes, they had the EVP stories. They were in power and stuff, but that's, storyline stuff. The Bucks, put talent over. That's unselfish of them. I didn't know what this match, I didn't know what the result was going to be. Honestly, I was thinking it was going to be the Young Bucks that won because I kind of like the idea of Swerve and Will Ospreay not being able to challenge for the championship and just seeing what AEW did there because that's interesting storytelling. You lose two of your top guys, you got to have guys step up and replace them. So I was kind of interested in that, but Young Bucks losing, it all made sense in the grand scheme of things. And also on Dynamite this past week, they got dropped off in an Uber instead of the limo that they usually come in. Their entrance was getting fucked up. It's going to be a really good story. It was comedy. I'm looking forward to how they continue to tell a story moving forward. But this was potentially match of the night. I think if the death match wasn't there, this would have been. I got so much shit on Twitter for simply enjoying that little 20-second sequence that they had that was, spot filled. They were going crazy. They were going a million miles an hour. I liked it. I thought it was really fun. The entire audience loved it. My cousin was freaking out. I couldn't even keep up with what they were doing. I was out of my seat screaming. It was so cool. And someone put out a tweet saying The Undertaker was right or something, because The Undertaker talked about how he doesn't like flips and he wants more storytelling and stuff like that. So somebody tweeted out the video, said Undertaker was right. And I was like, oh, what is he right about? That this sequence was sick? Because I agree with him. If that's what he said, I agree with him. That tweet blew up. I did not expect it to blow up the way that it did, but it did. And you know what? I like what I like. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's okay. Don't watch it. Don't complain about it. I liked it because it was really cool and fun. And I don't know. I like it. What else can I say? But it was a great match. Unbelievable match. One of the best tag team matches in AEW history. Swerve and Will, they weren't a tag team before, but you would have thought they've been a tag team for years. That's how good they were. The next match we have is the Women's Casino Gauntlet match, which was won by Athena. Another hometown win. Well, she's from Texas. I don't think she's from Dallas, but she's from Texas, so gets the home state win, getting the future world championship match. That is going to be a banger. Once we get, I know we all know who the winner is, but I'm trying to keep it, we're not talking about it yet. But when she does get to challenge the women's world champion, that match is going to be insane. I can't wait for it. And we'll talk about it a little bit later on. Next match, we have the three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Hurt Syndicate defeated Team Jet Speed, which was Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey, and the Patriarchy of Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. Now, the biggest piece of news to come out of this match, or segment, I should say, Nick Wayne, Kip Sabian, and Mother Wayne turned on Christian Cage with FTR. FTR was on commentary for this. They were setting Christian Cage up for a concerto. Nick Wayne was about to fucking bash Christian Cage's brains in. And just as he was about to do it, FTR was like, come on, kid, you got this. Just as he was about to do it, you think you know him. Not you think you know me. You think you know him. It's Cope, or now Copeland. I think he's going by his full name again. Thank God. He comes out, takes him 20 minutes, but he does come down to make the save for Christian. Takes the mic, says to him, go find yourself. Obviously, we know what Christian Cage said to him years, God knows how long it was. He told Edge to go fuck himself. Edge just tell him, go find yourself. He didn't turn on Christian, didn't beat him down like Christian did. He just left him in the ring. And you know what? We'll circle back to that story at some point. I'm sure we will see Cope and Christian together again at some point. But it was an insane pop. So my story, I have a funny story with this. It was a long show, right? We're there for 7-8 hours. My phone is dying. My phone was at like 80% when we got in there, and it was just quickly dying. So I'm filming stuff for the vlog and everything. So I'm like, I need to get a charger. So they have these portable chargers that they sold in the arena. It took me 10 years to everyone was struggling to get one because you had to fucking, you had to type in a code or whatever, get it sent to your phone, but no one was able to get it sent to their phone. Like they couldn't click the next button, like next, submit, whatever. Like it just wouldn't allow us to do that. After a few minutes of refreshing and stuff, I finally got it to work. I don't have like Apple Wallet, so I had to put my credit card on Apple Wallet because they only took it that way. Had to get approved from my credit card company. I had to do all this shit. And I finally got the charger, plugged it in. Charger didn't work. Charger was dead. So I had to go all the way to guest services. I was like, can you please charge my phone for like 10 minutes? I need something. So like, okay. They took my phone and they had a big screen TV in the guest services room. So they had the tag team match on. So I'm like, you know what? Do you mind if I just chill here and watch this, whatever? Because I'm not going to go back to my seat, come back. Like that made no sense. So I chilled out there, and that's when Copeland returned. And I'm freaking out because I'm like, fuck, I wish I was at my seat for this. The fans were going crazy. But I'm freaking out. The guest service people, God bless their soul, they were like happy. Like they were like, they knew what was happening was like a big thing, but they like, I can tell none of them like watched wrestling. So I was like, oh my God, it's Edge, it's Edge, it's Edge. And they were like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, this is so cool. And they're like, yeah, like this is really fun, whatever. So it was, I wish I was by my seat and I was there to react to Cope returning, because I didn't get it on video. My cousin got the return on video. Again, you making the vlog, you guys will see stuff there, but I was freaking the fuck out. Guest services like were also freaking out for me, I guess. Yeah, it was a one of a kind experience that although I wasn't in my seat, it was pretty fun. It was pretty cool, enjoying that moment with the guest service people. Then the next 3 matches, the 3 main events, Toni Storm defeats Mercedes Moné in an incredible championship match. I honestly didn't know. I think I picked Mercedes Moné in my predictions because 7-belt Moné has a good ring to it. She's from Boston, City of Champs, so I wouldn't have minded her bringing another title back home. But Toni Storm she's the best character in wrestling, when it comes to the women's division. I might honestly have the best character in general. She is on fire. She's on top of the world. You didn't have to take the belt off her. You know what I mean? You could look at it from both sides. We're like, well, Mercedes already has 6 belts. Why does she need another one? Good point. Toni Storm is on top of the world, one of the best wrestlers in the world. So keep the title reign going. I thought it was a fucking phenomenal match. Could have gone either way, but I am happy that Toni Storm is going to continue her reign because she is an incredible champion, and the reign is going to continue to be great. That's for damn sure. And now going back to Athena, Toni Storm versus Athena is going to feed fucking generations. It could have been Athena versus Mercedes or Toni. Didn't matter. That match is going to kick fucking ass. And honestly, it would be really cool if Athena was the one to dethrone Toni Storm because she's so deserving. She's been the Ring of Honor champion for like 2+ years now, at least. She's fucking incredible. You want to talk about some of the best female wrestlers in the world? You can't mention the best female wrestlers in the world without mentioning Athena. That match will be fucking awesome. I don't know when it's going to happen, whenever she cashes the contract in or whatever it is. That's going to be an insane match. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the match that drove me to All In this year. The reason why I bought tickets and I've gotten into wrestling outside of WWE, Kazuchika Okada putting up his Continental Championship against Kenny Omega, who is putting up his International Championship to crown the new unified champion. And Kazuchika Okada came out on top. Okay, now this match, ladies and gentlemen, I want everyone to bear with me here, okay? Because this is another thing that I tweeted that a lot of people twisted the words for no reason. This match was awesome. The story that was told in it, slower paced, but we're selling injuries. They have a lot of history together. This is their 5th match. They know each other like the back of their hands, okay? They've been here before. This is 7 years removed from their last one, so they're a bit older now. As awesome as the match was, in my opinion, it was the worst out of their 5 matches. Me saying it's the worst, again, I said it was awesome. Me saying it's the worst does not mean it was a bad match. If you have a series of anything, whether it be wrestling matches, movies, TV seasons, whatever it may be, there's always going to be a best and there's always going to be a worst. Does that mean they're all bad? Not all the time. This match doesn't come close, I think, to their best match by far. I don't even know what rating this got. Let me actually see what Dave Meltzer rated this match. Oh, he didn't even actually rate the match yet. But anyways, just because this match, I say, was the worst of their 5, doesn't mean I didn't like it. Do I think now they should have a 6th one? Because that's the topic. That's the conversation now. Because the way the match ended was very quick. I thought this match could have gone another 5 to 10 minutes, personally. Don Callis got involved, which, fuck Don Callis. I hate him getting involved in matches all the time, especially big matches. People are speculating that they're going to have a 6th match because of the way the match ended, the Don Callis interference and stuff. I don't know how I feel about it because I went into this match thinking that this was going to be their last match, okay? I went into this match. I didn't have high expectations going to this match because I knew they were older. I knew that this was, later in their careers, and this was different than wrestling in the Tokyo Dome, right? But the way the match ended, I get why people want another one, and part of me also wants another one. I mean, listen, Kenny Omega, Okada. Would I want to see them wrestle again? Sure. I'm not going to say no to that, right? Like, if that's presented to me, I'm not going to boycott it. I'll be like, okay, like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll watch it. It's just, I don't want them to keep having matches that don't live up to their first four and then waters down their rivalry slash feud. Like those first four matches will always be in consideration for the four best matches ever, right? But I don't want them to keep the feud going and delivering. I want, and lackluster isn't the word, because again, their match at All In was great. It was awesome. The series is 2-2-1 now. I picked Okada to win because I wanted him to tie the series. If the series ended at 2-2-1, I felt like that would have been perfect because they both have 2 wins. You have the draw. No one's better than the other in this rivalry. You're dead even. I don't know. I think they're going to have another match. If they do it, I just don't want them to do it very soon. I want them to wait a bit. I want them to push it off. Kenny Omega's been selling that injury. Maybe give him some time off. Keep him off TV for a bit. Build this up. Really build up a final match because it's 2-2. Now it could be like the winner of the match is the winner of the rivalry. They have the upper hand. Maybe they, build that up the end of the rivalry. If they do it, wait a bit. Just wait a little bit. And God, I just hope they deliver something that will be in consideration with those first 4 matches that we can put in that conversation. That's what I hope for if they do it again. But at the same time, I shouldn't have high expectations. I'm not setting any expectations. I don't even know if I do want to see them, but I don't know if I want. I don't know what I want, guys. I don't know what I want. All I know is Okada is the new unified champion. Swerve Strickland and him seem to be starting a program over it. That is going to fucking feed generations. I can't wait for that. Shout out to Okada. I think he was the right man to win that match. And then the very last match, guys. Texas Death for the AEW World Championship. Where the fuck do I even start? Within minutes. Again, my cousin has never been to an AEW show before. He's never watched AEW. He doesn't know anything about AEW. Within 2 minutes, Adam Page was stabbing Moxley in the face, in the forehead, with a fork, and he was bleeding profusely. He was bleeding so much. Then there's barbed wire that gets involved. Barbed wire tables, barbed wire chairs. Adam Page hit a power bomb on Moxley on 2 chairs that were going in together, so his spine went on the backrest, and then there was a bed of nails that got brought out, and Moxley hit a DDT on it to Hangman, and Hangman did a buckshot lariat to Mox, who landed on it. There was glass. There was so much glass on the ring. Moxley was dragging Page on it. There were interferences. This was AEW's version of Marvel Endgame, like WrestleMania 40 for WWE. They had the Death Riders come out. They had the Young Bucks come out. They had Will Ospreay come out. Bryan Danielson returned in the fucking blue mask. Darby Allin descended from the rafters. Okay, guys, that was the craziest shit I've seen, because all night I was saying, if Darby Allin comes back, I wonder if he comes down from the ceiling. And throughout the show, I kept looking up and I couldn't see anything. When they showed the Mount Everest clip during the match of Darby saying he's on top of the world, me and my cousin look up. My cousin sees him dangling on the fucking roof. And I'm like, oh my God, it's him. They're fucking. And while we're looking at him down in the ring, Bryan Danielson comes in and fucking takes them out. It was the craziest sequence. And then Darby comes down with the parachute on that he had when he was doing Mount Everest or whatever, the gear he had, whatever the fuck. Takes out the Death Riders, everyone. Then, last but not least, Swerve Strickland comes down, hands him the chain that Page gave him just a few days or a few weeks prior, whenever it was. Adam Page uses that chain to choke out Jon Moxley. What was one of the most vicious endings to a match? The way he was getting choked out, you could see the look on his face that if he held on longer, he may have actually gotten choked out. It was a fantastic end to the match, an end to the Death Riders' reign of terror. Jon Moxley watching his title reign fade before his very eyes, watching what he's done over the last year fade before his very eyes was so poetic. And then watching Hangman undo the briefcase, release the AEW championship that still had Bryan Danielson's side plates on it. That is such a good touch. That's why we watch wrestling. That's why we love wrestling. For moments like that, stories like that. I hope this championship reign, it goes on for a while. I think this could be a very special championship reign. I would say long overdue, but long time coming for Adam Page. And I think this is it was the perfect decision, putting this Death Rider story to an end, their reign of terror to an end. And with everything going on in wrestling today, AEW had to strike when their product was hot And boy, they went up to the plate and they hit a home run. I am very happy that AEW delivered the show that they did, because this really was, in my opinion, the pay-per-view of the year. And all promotions, WWE, AEW, whatever, the ones that I have seen, this was the best event of the year, and they had to deliver, man. I think just with the state of wrestling today in general, some promotions, some companies don't have the hottest stories and have been giving us some shit over the last few months. And to have an alternative like AEW to deliver such an incredible show and deliver on such an amazing story like this one, it's so refreshing. It was so awesome. This was one of the best experiences of my life being there. This and WrestleMania 40 were two of the best, coolest experiences of my life. And getting to experience this with my older cousin again that has never seen this, you guys will see his reactions during the vlog. Priceless. Wouldn't trade it for the world. We had such a great time, and this show was unbelievable. I can't wait to see what we do next with the World Championship. MJF has the contract, so he's going to be looming over Adam Page. I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Darby Allin was on AEW last night. John Moxley, they had the 3-on-3 match and everything. So Swerve Strickland is going after the unified belt. Will Ospreay I think he's going to miss a little bit of time. They wrote him off for a little bit of an injury. So we'll see when he kind of gets involved back in the championship picture. But Hangman Adam Page, God bless you, man. You're the fucking man, the champion of the fucking world, as he said at AEW Dynamite. I can't wait to see what he does with the championship. All right, now let's jump into the other show that happened that night, and that is Saturday night's main event, which saw Randy Orton defeating Drew McIntyre. Randy Orton had Jelly Roll by his side. Drew McIntyre had Logan Paul by his side. Randy Orton wins. I would have picked Drew McIntyre to win personally because he just came back, and I thought he would have, needed a big win like this. But this is just, furthering the story with Orton and Jelly Roll taking on Drew and Logan Paul at SummerSlam. They also did a little segment on Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kim, whatever the hell the show was, that the talk show host show they were on. But they did a little bit. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre got into a fight. Logan Paul tried to attack. He slapped Jelly Roll chokeslammed him through the table. It was a cool segment, honestly. Cool late night segment. Puts on national television. Funny little bit to get people interested in the match and hype up SummerSlam. So no harm there, but Randy Orton, I think I would have rather Drew McIntyre win, but so be it. Then we had Solo Sikoa defeating Jimmy Uso to retain the United States Championship. Jacob Fatu came out. Him and Jimmy seem to be on good terms now, so the bloodline continues. The bloodline continues. It'll never stop. Next, we have LA Knight defeating Seth Rollins, and the biggest takeaway from this match is Seth Rollins potentially being hurt. So you guys, I'm sure, saw the clip of Seth Rollins tweaking his knee during the match. They had to cut the match short. LA Knight just hit him with the BFT, 1, 2, 3, got out of the ring. So there are some different reports going around of how severe the injury is. There are even some reports that are saying that he was hurt before the match, and then they faked this injury to write him off or be like, oh, he suffered a knee injury, he's going to be out for a while. So I don't know if he has a legit knee injury that's going to keep him out for whether it's a little bit or a long time, or he has an injury that isn't as serious, but they're chalking it up saying it's a knee injury so they can save his return for a crazy moment. So in my head, and this is just speculation, this is just fancy booking. Let's say Seth Rollins, they say he tore his ACL. Let's just say that, right? But he keeps the briefcase. In my opinion, and also just a little side thing, if you are a Money in the Bank winner and you suffer an injury, they should be able to hold on to the briefcase. I feel like that's something that, why didn't we think of that before? It makes so much sense. You won the briefcase, you can hold on to it for a year. So if you're out 9 months, logically, why would you lose it? You know what I mean? Mr. Kennedy, for example, if they didn't take it off of him, he could have held the briefcase still and then won a world championship. And that's, we're going back years now. But Seth Rollins, I think, should still hold on to the briefcase, however long he's out. And let's say they say he's out for a year or 9 months, whatever. Let's say he shows up at SummerSlam and cashes in on John Cena and Cody Rhodes, or he cashes in on John Cena for his last show or something like that. That is what I think they should do if that's what we're doing here. If it's a serious injury and everything, speedy recovery to Seth Rollins. He is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. It fucking sucks whenever he gets hurt. He gets hurt a lot. His knees are just like, he's sacrificed so much. He's had so many knee injuries, surgeries. But if there's a real thing, speedy recovery, keep your eye out for, I guess, for further developments there with Seth Rollins and that group. And in our main event of the evening, we have Gunther versus Goldberg, and Goldberg's last match ever, his retirement match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther wins. Oh, shocker. Oh my God, I can't believe Gunther won. Yeah, we all knew this was going to happen. For what it's worth, Goldberg, it was a decent performance for being a 15-minute match. You know what I mean? I didn't expect it to go that long. Gave a speech at the end, got caught off, and then he went on a podcast. It was like voicing his displeasures over the whole thing, saying he deserved a better retirement. Said that 3 weeks of a build-up wasn't enough time when, I mean, him and Gunther started building things up at Bad Blood last year. And he was talking about, comparing John Cena. He was comparing himself to John Cena, saying they would never cut off John Cena, this and that, whatever. He did also say that no one ever really stays retired. You're really only retired when you're dead and stuff. He goes, I'd say I'm officially retired, but never say never. If WWE is not giving him one final match. If he has another match, he is going to AEW or something like that. There is no way WWE gives him another send-off. That is not happening. But the show was the show. The show was the show. That's all I really got to say. Now, another show. We're going to end it on this, talking about Evolution. I want to give a fucking shout out to every single woman that was on this card, that was involved in this show and making it as incredible as it was. Fuck Triple H for having this Evolution pay-per-view, 6-7 years after the first one. This needs to be an annual thing. And then there are going to be some people like, oh, no, they don't need to have their own thing because they're on the main roster. They're on the main card. They're on the pay-per-views with the men and stuff. They deserve a night to showcase all the women and be able to just shine on their own. This pay-per-view, also people are like, oh, they don't need to be on it. They're on the shows with the other men or whatever. Then why was this the pay-per-view of the year for WWE? This was better than WrestleMania. This was better than Royal Rumble. This was better than Elimination. This was better than every pay-per-view WWE has put on this year. And that's not a hot take. If you think it's a hot take, I'm sorry, but there are plenty of people that feel the same way because I think it's true. Becky Lynch, Bayley, Lyra starting the event with the triple threat match. Becky had one of the sickest finishes to the match. Her roll up over Bayley was so smooth. Now literally was like, oh my God, that was fucking awesome. Those three women tore it down. Becky and Bayley, two of the four horsewomen. Lyra, one of the newcomers on the roster that has quickly become one of the most talented female superstars on the roster. All three looked great. All three could have won, honestly. JC Jane defeated Jordan Grace to retain the NXT Championship after Blake Monroe turned on her, so we get some NXT shit going on. JC Jane continues her title reign, which is very cool to see because I think she's deserving of a decent title reign with how long she's been in NXT for and everything. The Judgment Day of Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne defeated Charlotte, Alexa, Sol Ruka, Zarya, and the Kabuki Warriors to retain the Women's Tag Team Championship. Very cool match. It was nice seeing inclusion from NXT people, SmackDown, Raw, from all brands and everything. Raquel and Roxanne winning makes sense. Keep the Judgment Day strong. Keep the belts on them. This match, I think, was the worst of the night. But again, what I said earlier, just because it was the worst doesn't mean it was bad. Tiffany Stratton defeated Trish Stratus. This was the one match that, I know there's history between Tiffany and Trish, but, Tiffany picked her as her opponent. Do I feel like they could have had, someone on the main roster be in this position? Sure, but Trish Stratus is a legend. I never complain when she comes back. She's still great in the ring. I do think if she wanted to stick around more, she could definitely go more consistently, more often, but it's cool seeing her back. She had the Women's Championship belt buckle on her gear, which is really cool. Jade Cargill defeated Naomi in a no-holds-barred match. Bianca Belair was the special guest referee. I thought Naomi should have won this, so it would have evened their series and all that stuff, but didn't really matter at the end. Stephanie Vaquer won the 20-woman Evolution Battle Royal to win or to claim or to secure a championship match at Clash in Paris. That's the word I'm looking for, secure. She last eliminated Lash Legend, who had a really good showing. I was really impressed by her. A lot of good performances here from everyone. Stephanie Vaquer, that was the gimme. I felt that was a comfortable pick for that match to win. Made sense that she won. And then in the fucking main event of Evolution, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley had one of the greatest women's matches I've ever seen. I think it is the highest rated women match in WWE history on Cage Match. I think that is the thing. But as amazing and nearly perfect as it was, it became even more perfect when Naomi came down and cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase. And honestly, might be one of the most shocking cash-ins in history because for weeks, for months, Naomi's been teasing cashing in on Tiffany. She's on SmackDown. And that's kind of been the thing where it's like the superstars that win it on their brand, they stick to, chasing the belt that's on their brand. If you're a SmackDown superstar, you're going after a SmackDown championship. You're on Raw, you go after a Raw championship. And not even Tiffany, but Jade, because Jade's the queen of the ring. She's challenging Tiffany at SummerSlam. In my head, I'm like, oh, that's the perfect time for Naomi to cash in on Jade. That's great. But she instead cashes in during this match, gets Rhea Ripley out of there, hits the moonsault in Io Sky, 1, 2, 3. Naomi is the new women's world champion. To say this reign is well-deserved doesn't do it justice. Naomi deserves this times 10, times 100. She has gone through so much. Her story is incredible, from WWE to leaving and doing her thing on the indies to coming back and now being at the top of the world. We are getting the best work, at least of her WWE career. And it is so amazing and cool to see because she's such a locker room leader. Everyone in the locker room loves her. She's just a great person and very well deserved. They set up a triple threat match for SummerSlam, Naomi versus Io versus Rhea. I will say, if if Naomi loses at SummerSlam, that's bullshit because she needs to have a good title reign. She needs to hold on to the belt for a little bit. But shout out to Naomi. That and the death match were matches of the weekend for me. I'm going to put the death match over it just because I was there and it's a death match. It's apples to oranges. You can't compare the two. But those were easily the two matches of the weekend. Saturday Night Main Event didn't even happen. It was a weekend of All In and Evolution. Those two pay-per-views were incredible. And I actually watched Evolution. I didn't get to watch it live. I watched it yesterday. And I filmed my reaction for Patreon. So if you want to watch it with me on Patreon, my link to everything will be in the description. So check that out. That is it for me, guys. I have been talking for a long time. I am out of breath. I am tired right now. So I'm going to step out of here. I'm going to edit this video, put it out for you guys. And hopefully you guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. Again, if you were in Texas and we saw each other, you came up, introduced yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much for talking to me, taking a picture, whatever it may be. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here being able to do what I do. So thank you so much for your support. Love you guys. Have a great rest of the day. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.